our mission. So serving God can be done at least in two ways: proclaiming the gospel and help the needy. And this has to be done together as a church, because we are members of the church with a capital C, but also within the local church with a small c. Anyway, next. So what's the context? We are sons and daughters of God, by His grace. And this is something I just wanted to read you. It's from Matthew 25. For I was hungry and you gave me food. I was thirsty and you gave me drink. I was a stranger and you welcomed me. I was naked and you clothed me. I was sick and you visited me. I was in prison and you came to me. Then the righteous will answer him, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you water? And when did we see you a stranger and welcome you, or naked and clothe you? And when did we see you sick or in prison and visited you? And the king will answer them, truly I say to you, as you did it to one of the least of these my brothers, you did it to me. Other verses that I wanted to read with you. Everybody know Proverbs 31 because it's the righteous woman, like, I don't know about the ladies here, but we were always like bashed into like, you have to be that woman. But before that, there's a small passage of a mother to his son, which is a prince, Lemuel. And he's like, don't get drunk. But your role as a prince is to open your mouth for the mute, for the rights of all who are destitute. Open your mouth, judge righteously, defend the rights of the poor and needy. That is pretty compelling, I feel. Like, we might think that we are princes and princesses, just like, yeah, we enjoy the blessings of God, but we have a responsibility to those who are destitute and those who do not know the gospel and would be very, very happy, because you're very, very happy to know the gospel, right? And a third passage from the Bible is from Isaiah 58. Isn't not this a fast that I choose, to loose the bonds of the wickedness, to undo the straps of the yoke, to let the oppressed to go free, and to break every yoke? Is it not to share your bread with the hungry and bring the homeless poor into your house? When you see the naked, to cover him and not to hide yourself from your own flesh. I mean, these are just like 3 excerpts from the Bible that you can go through. There are so many others where God is just like, it's not like, oh yeah, if you can just help. If you can, proclaim the gospel. He's like, no, you do it. That's who you are. That's what I made you. So with no further introduction, I will give the mic to David, and he will present the Women's Hope Center. But yeah, sorry, I forgot this slide. So just as a very small recap, what do? We support 6 projects and families, 3 families, 3 projects, with a budget of around 13 million Korean won. So just so you know, we can do more if you want to, which would be cool. But this is just a drop, but I believe that God is blessing this drop, and let us be open to be more generous in many different ways. So David, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. My name is David Mundy, and we are happy to be here. My family is from Pohang, and we've been living in Pohang for about 11 years now. During that time, about 6 years ago, the Women's Hope Center was started. And I brought some slides. We want to see life valued from conception, and that's the mission for our organization. We work with women who are in crisis and who are having a difficult time. That includes crisis pregnancy, as well as domestic violence and human trafficking. Many of our trafficking clients come to us, though, because of crisis pregnancy as well. And so we've been working on that and working for many years on that. And if you're from maybe a Western country, you might be familiar with the crisis pregnancy center model or way of doing things. In America, there are many crisis pregnancy centers all over. Maybe each city might have one. But here in Korea, there's not much focus on the life of the unborn children or of single mothers who are facing some crisis. And that's where we came in. So again, we're from Women's Hope Center. Our motto is one woman and baby at a time. And we do deal with clients, each client on a case-by-case basis, focusing on their needs and problems. And we know that Christ cares about these things. You can go ahead. There might have been a woman in the Bible who maybe faced a crisis pregnancy. I'm just making a little joke. I don't think it's a crisis pregnancy to have the Jesus Christ as your baby. But at any rate, making a little joke. In Korea, you may not know this, but abortion is illegal. So in Korea, as well as Poland and Ireland right now are the only 3 countries that are still holding out and making abortion illegal. However, there's an estimated 1.5 million. That's a high number. The lowest number would be around 400,000 abortions per year. So as you know, Korea has an issue with its birth rate and are not at population replacement numbers. And yet we're still struggling with issues of abortion and with high numbers of issues of abortion. And so we're concerned about that. 3 out of every 4 babies are aborted in Korea. It's the major form of birth control still. There's not a lot of knowledge or information about birth control. And so we see that abortion is one of the major forms there. So we're working on that, saving lives, one woman and one baby at a time. So our center started because we had a student at our university, Yuri, who became pregnant, and the pastors looked around to try to find some organization who could help. And if the woman wants to keep the baby and her parents disagree, and she has no support. Even we've had parents who will drag their daughter to the abortion, to the hospital to have the abortion. We've had clients come in who've been severely beaten and are pretty beat up and marked up, where their parents have beaten and abused them because they got pregnant and because they refused to have some abortion. And so it's a difficult situation. In America, typically, a crisis pregnancy center would provide just some counseling and some material help. But what we found actually is we now have a series of maternity homes that we're running. And so if somebody's in trouble, they're just going to come live with us. And we live together, we eat together, we have Bible studies, we have counseling, weekly counseling sessions with them. We're going to church together with them. And so that's how it started. Frankly, we started just from the faculty wives, like my wife and other wives, started this one. And so at first, just part-timers, volunteers, no full-time employees, just a mission of the faculty wives. But we were able to help Yuri there, and you can see her baby, and now we're helping so many. So we also, because we speak English and Korean, we have capacity to help international clients as well. So this is a Vietnamese client who was a victim of domestic abuse from her Korean husband. And in each situation, because we bring the gospel of Christ Jesus with us, we don't worry too much about if somebody has a really hard time, a really hard situation. We know that we can step into that situation, bringing Christ in that situation, and we can see a positive resolution. So every time there's a crisis in a woman's life, here's a picture of our clients together having a picnic. Oh, you're heavy. Here you go, Wade. Every time there's a crisis in a client's life, it's not only that woman who's in crisis, it's her parents, it's the father of the baby. Everybody is involved. Grandparents are involved. So we bring in counseling, we bring in pastors to try to achieve some kind of reconciliation. So in the case of the Vietnamese woman, we were able to bring in some counseling and get counseling for her and for her husband. And they were able to reconcile and be brought back together because of that. And so for some of our clients, we hope to reconcile them with their parents, with grandparents, to help them and take care of the babies and raise the babies. But for other clients, there's no support. And so here we are having some dinner together. For other clients, we're helping them, not only have the baby, paying for their hospital visits, these kind of things, but then vocational training as well. So becoming nurse's assistant, child care providers, going to college, four-year schools, going to get their master's degree. We also have, because we're a Women's Hope Center, we have training in all kinds of issues of women's health. So childbirth classes are being taught here, and you can go on. And then we're also supporting, here's my wife with one of our babies. My wife is our childbirth trainer and also a certified doula, and it's helping the clients have their babies, which is a fun one to do. And so here are some babies that were born. You can just go through these. These were babies that were born with us this last year. And frankly, through the help of Redeemer Church. For many years, we've had a great relationship with Redeemer Church here in Busan. And it's one of our oldest friends and oldest supporters of our ministry. Actually, it's a little bit shocking. We've been reaching out to Korean churches, and they say, where is your support coming from? And so, a lot of our support is coming from the Waegukin churches, from the foreign churches in Korea, because we've been fighting this issue of abortion for so long. We have this perspective on that. But we've been talking to the Korean churches. Why aren't you guys supporting us more? You can support us more. Look at what these churches are doing. And so we're happy to be able to point to the support of churches like Redeemer, who have been helping not only in just financially, which is a big help, frankly, but also helping in terms of donations. We've had people from Redeemer sending up gift packages of children's clothing, sending up gift packages of diapers. I remember Redeemer at one point sent up a ton of newborn diapers, which, as you guys know, if you're a parent, you know it's the newborn ones, and then like the number 3s are always in demand, right? You go through the newborn 1, 2s, and they stay in the 3s for a long time. So Redeemer's been so helpful just in sending just physical supplies for the women, because when they come to our place, when they come to our maternity homes, sometimes they're coming with nothing at all. Sometimes they're sneaking away in the middle of the night, coming by bus, and we're picking them up and hiding them away from their parents. In that case, they can't use their national insurance because their parents can track them down. So we're paying for everything and also helping them and just clothing them and providing for them. And we're also getting a chance, most importantly, to minister the gospel to them, especially in action, just in loving them. The Apostle Paul talks about the gifts of the Spirit, and those are wonderful, but in chapter 13, what he concludes is the most important gift is love. And really, that's the most important thing, just to love these people. A lot of the clients that come to us are really kind of broken individuals. They have some big problems in their lives. They've been in prostitution. Some of them even try to keep doing prostitution while they're living with us. We had to kind of put the stop on that one. And they lie to us, they cheat and they steal, and we just love them. We just love them, with the love that Christ gives us for them. But we're able to do that, frankly, because of the support of Redeemer Church and others who have partnered with us. So just to tell you, in the last year, we helped more than 100 women. And you might be shocked, it's not only women. We get calls into our counseling center from young men who are calling and saying, my girlfriend wants to have an abortion, what should we do? We can counsel them. We get calls from young men saying, my girlfriend went through an abortion, and now I'm having a really hard time emotionally. And so we do post-abortion counseling, not only with women. We do post-abortion counseling for the men and for the fathers of the babies as well. In the last year, we helped more than 100 people. In terms of our maternity homes, we had 12 clients living with us. Some of those were then reconciled back with their families. And we had 5 babies born in our center last year. And you saw some of them right there. And in 2017, we're on track to have the same kind of numbers in terms of the same kind of help. Right now, we have 3 clients living with us. One just returned. She had her baby, and she's coming back, and she wants to go to school. We said, come back and live with us and go to school, and we'll help take care of the baby and do that. And 2 more. Another one had her baby just recently. And the 3rd client just moved in, and she's 7 months pregnant. and she wants to go and do her nursing aid certificate. And so we're going to support her for doing her nursing aid certificate so she can become a dental hygienist or something, along those lines, and support herself and support her child. And also we're going to help her with the medical costs, taking her to the medical appointments, and also just building and contributing into her life. So I have with me here Wade. Wade, will you wave your hand? I'm just a volunteer. I kind of run things, administer things, but frankly, Wade is our full-time administrative director and dealing with these things on a day-by-day basis. We also have a full-time counselor on staff and a caregiver as well on staff. So we have 3 paid workers right now that are working for us. And we just want to welcome and invite you guys, if you ever have a chance to go to Pohang, maybe for the firework festival, or if you're going at the new year to Homagot, if you're coming up toward Pohang, please just give us a little call and come by and visit our office. We'd love to see you guys there and to welcome you there so you can see more of what we're doing in our work. But we're also just so happy to be here. And I'll tell you, it's such a blessing. When we walked in, it just felt like kind of homecoming, even though we've never been here before. Just so welcoming and friendly and kind of feeling like home. So if it was not a 2-hour drive, we might be down here every week. But unfortunately, and maybe fortunately for your nursery staff, we'll probably just stay up there in Pohang. But please, after the service, if you have any questions, just come up and let us know. We have some brochures in the back. You can learn more or read more about Women's Hope Center and what we're doing. But frankly, we're just here to bless you and say thank you so much for your continued support and what we're doing. We had that deep relationship with the Collins as they were helping us out and doing all these things. And we hope to just continue that relationship with Redeemer Church here into the future as we work to help support the women in crisis in Korea. Thank you.
Thank you, David. I will go on with the other missions that we support very quickly. The next one is Remember You. The idea is to end child sex slavery. I'm pretty sure you've heard about it, but it's really harsh. The way they started is in Cambodia. A little girl they met, this American couple met. Her name was New. That's hence the name Remember You. She was forced into sex slavery as she was 12. And this happens all the time. I grew up in Cambodia, and I know that these things happen all the time. Wherever you see that, you look around, you have brothels, and you see little kids and women. So this is a tough situation for many of the kids, and the idea is to provide for a home where they can be welcomed and they can be loved and they can be equipped to face life. And these homes are now in 13 countries, so that's about 1,040 kids. There's much more to do, but and for now they're about 85% of their budget. And the idea is to help through prevention, sponsorship that allows children's home to be built and run, and vocational training. So if you're interested in sponsoring a kid, there are different ways. There's a grandparent set, parent set, and sibling set. And you can really empower these little kids who are threatened every single day by their family members or just like random people down the street. So this is about Remember You. The house that we were located is in Thailand, and there are about 7 kids at the moment. So if you have further questions, you can come to me, and maybe later on we'll do some other presentations about the work of Remember You. Next one is ZTO Mission. It's based in the Philippines. Basically, 2 ladies decided to go there and proclaim the gospel and do it in a holistic way. So they are providing for training and Bible studies. So if you have further questions, I would invite you to go ask Tommy over there who went there. And who? and Matthew, sorry, I didn't know about that. They went there and they can give you more details about what's going on there. Next one is the unfamous Collins. They were the previous pastor's family here. They're back in the States, and they're working for Training Leaders International. So basically their purpose is to, Dan is sent to India particularly to train pastors. I don't know if you know about the conditions of Christians in India. It's very tough, especially since the new government. There are areas that are a little safer, but still it's really, really, really hard. So it's really hard to get also a proper training, a proper sound biblical training. So this is their calling, and we ask you guys can support it by yourself and through Redeemer. Next one is the Boyles. They were also in Redeemer Busan, so that's very interesting. The 3 families that we support were passed through Busan, Redeemer Busan. So it seems like this is a missional church where you raise this eager to proclaim and share the great hope that we have. So the boys are now based in the US. They've been fundraising for the past 5 months, and they are heading to Japan in Hiroshima. There is already a family that is part of the Pioneers mission, and the idea is to build churches because, I don't know, like in Japan, 0.4% of the population is said to be Christian, so that's not so much, and there's definitely a need for people to rise and say what we believe in, and yeah. And the next one is the Harrisons. They're currently based in Georgia, and they're working with Encompass as a mobilizer. So basically, he goes to different churches and different conferences to raise the call and like make people realize that they might be called to be missionaries here and there. And so far, he's been to Europe to see what the needs are. And from that on, he will go to different churches and conferences again to raise interest in mission with Encompass. So I've listed like 3 ways to support mission. So I would say, I don't even know if it's very much obvious, but at least the financial support and donations. I've listed a few Bible verses that you can refer to. The Church of Corinth like generously gave with a joy to be part of that favor of giving. I don't know if we have this generous mindset, but let's be challenged by this. So there are many ways to give and raise money. Second is spiritual support and prayer. I was very much encouraged especially by the boys' newsletters, where they're like, we just don't want the financial support. We want you to partner with prayer, with us in prayer. And this is something that I would say it just costs time, basically, and faith. So what about like being more involved in prayer for all these different missions that we have the possibility to serve to? And the last one is emotional support. So letters, gifts, phone calls. As I told you, I was in Cambodia and Laos as a kid. My parents were missionaries, and I cannot tell you how encouraging it can be to receive a package full of chocolate or cheese. We are from France, so cheese is important. There was no wine, okay? Or just like letters. I remember this one missionary, she would send us like a birthday card. And that was amazing. There was one chewing gum on it, but I was so happy to receive it. So not only the kids, but the parents, I saw my parents being very distressed at times. And just like a few words of encouragement, a few verses of encouragement, that helps to, go ahead. I'm currently reading like Hudson Taylor biography. And he was receiving this letter from his buddy. And he was just encouraging him to keep on fighting keep fighting the good fight. And that kind of like stirred something new in his heart. And he went in his mission even more boldly. So if you want to be more involved, I guess you're more involved because you give. I guess you're involved because you're praying. So keep praying, keep giving. We can help. You can help organize charities. And one of the purpose I come here also is like to build a mission team. The mission team members would have the responsibility or the privilege to meet monthly to pray for different missions. That there's a real follow-up of what's going on. Sending letters and packages. Like, if you'd like to, we can do this birthday card that we send. Keeping the church posted about the missionaries' work. It's important. Like, there are fights, but sometimes there are failures, so we have to pray harder. Sometimes there are victories, and this is a good time to celebrate what God is doing. And the last one would be a mission trip. So why not to Pohang in the coming month, or maybe in the Philippines or in Thailand to visit the house that we are helping. So if you want to help further, there's a paper where you can in the back. In the entrance, depending what's your reference. You can write your name, your email address, and how you'd like to help supporting more the missions that we are helping. So thanks a lot. And let's continue this moment of worship because our God is amazing.